It wasn't triggered by anything political. The Chinese weren't involved in initiating the decision.
And what it should be about isn't about the pandas. It's about Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor, the two Canadians who are unlawfully imprisoned in gulags in China for over 500 days. The pandas at the Calgary Zoo are being placed back into the custody of Beijing. You might know the story of Ershun and Dalmau. The pandas that Prime Minister Stephen Harper secured as sort of a diplomatic gesture of goodwill from the People's Republic of China. Years before the aggression we've been seeing from them recently, and years before the incompetencies that we've been seeing from Canada on the global stage. Now, why are they going back? Well, we thought it might have something to do with China putting pressure on their puppet, the puppet that is leading Canada. Justin Trudeau, just a few days ago, he actually acknowledged Taiwan after he was placed under a lot of pressure to say thank you to Taiwan for them donating masks and personal protective equipment to Canadians.
Happy to thank Taiwan for its generous donation. It is important at this point that Canadians and all people around the world pull together to be there for each other, because this is a global challenge that is going to face a global response. We need to do this together, and we will.
Now, just days after that, the pandas are going back to China. It seems like too much of a coincidence, especially when we understand what goes on with China and their panda game. We've seen the same thing happen in different places, and it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to think that is happening here. The Calgary Zoo, though, says that that is absolutely not the case. Listen to this.
It's the supply chain transportation network, and the pandemic has complicated that to the point that we can't rely on it. And the welfare of our animals always comes first. It was a hard decision to make to get to this. It wasn't triggered by anything political. The Chinese weren't involved in initiating the decision. We made them aware of what we had done, and obviously the types of permits that we were applying for in order to get them back home to where the supply of bamboo is abundant and local.
They say this has nothing to do with politics. It's entirely about them not being able to secure bamboo that they have historically gotten from trips over the Pacific Ocean twice a week on refrigerated flights. They brought the bamboo in from China direct to Calgary. They say that that can't happen anymore, so they can't feed their pandas, who rely 99% of their diet being bamboo. Now, they say that they can't get it from North America either. If you know anything about bamboo, you'll know it's a weed. It can grow in some pretty awful climates. It grows in awful climates in China, and it can grow in Victoria, British Columbia, and it can grow in Memphis, Tennessee. And that's actually where the pandas got their bamboo when they were living in Toronto. But now they say that they can't even get shipments locally within North America. Why is that? Well, listen to this.
The challenge isn't that bamboo isn't accessible in North America. There's bamboo that grows on Vancouver Island and in Vancouver beautifully. The challenge is getting it to Calgary twice a week. So the international borders are currently closed, so only food supply trucks get through the Canada-US border, which means when our bamboo comes through, it's often delayed there for a couple of days, or it's misdirected into Vancouver where it sits for a couple of days. By the time we get that expensive bamboo, it's dry, it's brittle, and our pandas won't eat it.
Pandas are picky eaters. They're not going to eat brittle bamboo. They don't eat brittle bamboo. They will starve if that's all they're given. But for some reason, Justin Trudeau's government is delaying bamboo shipments by days on the Canadian border. Justin Trudeau has neglected Alberta and Calgary for a long time, so we shouldn't be surprised. These pandas are an integral part of the economy here in Canada. They've brought in so much money for the Calgary Zoo and millions of dollars. The exhibits that they're in cost millions of dollars, about $15 million just for the interior building, and even more for the walkway and surrounding parking and different sites and bathrooms along those lines with Panda Passage. And that is all going to waste. The Calgary Zoo says they have absolutely no plans to refill this exhibit. And they even say that once these pandas go home, they will not come back. Listen to this.
The challenge with bringing them back is that COVID is expected to be a reality for us for quite some time. So 18 to 24 months is what we're hearing from public health. Moving animals internationally, especially endangered species, is an undertaking of epic proportions. We don't see it as having the pandas come back once they've gone.
So we thought this was a story of China placing pressure on their puppet here in Canada, Justin Trudeau, Little Potato, when in reality it just has to do with the incompetence of the government. But set that all aside. The story here, really, and what it should be about, isn't about the pandas. It's about Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor, the two Canadians who are unlawfully imprisoned in gulags in China for over 500 days. Right now, Canada has in its custody two pandas, two organisms that the People's Republic of China, the Chinese Communist Party, actually care more for than human lives. We should be trading panda for prisoner. If you agree, go to keepthepandas.ca, sign the petition, and we'll be sending it to Justin Trudeau. It would be a tactical error to be sending these pandas back, while China is going to continue to imprison Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor for an indefinite amount of time until they get what they want. Well, we have something that they want, and it's time that we trade it. For Rebel News, I'm Cian Bechstein. If you have a few moments of free time, go to rebelnews.com/Clarion. After, of course, you've signed the Panda petition, we have a really interesting video on an individual who threatened South Park after the Dra Muhammad cartoon problem. Go to rebelnews.com/Clarion, check that video out, and let me know what you think in the comments.